Tako da imamo samo dve govorki. Ena je Sophie Mirov, ki se nam bo priključila preko Skypa. Ona bo prva. Ona je del iniciative Flüchtlingen Willkommen iz Berlina oziroma iz Nemčije, kjer in ona pač ta iniciativa obstaja že od novembra 2014, ona pa že od septembra 2015 skrbi za nastanitev beguncev v regijah v Hamburgu, Bremnu in Hanoverju. In nam bo malo več povedala o tem. Potem pa nam bo, potem bom jaz povedala malo še o tem par stavkov o tem, o čemer bi Tomaž govoril, pa ga nažalost ni tukaj, ker on je aktivist in sodelavec italijanskega solidarnega konzorcija. Ja, in potem je z nami še Andreja Rafaelič, ki pa je pač dolgoletna aktivistka za deinstitucionalizacijo in sodelavka Fakultete za socialno delo, kjer je tudi doktorirala iz povezovanja in vključevanja pri oskrbi po meri človeka in procesih deinstitucionalizacije. In nam bo povedala pač nekaj o izkušnjah boja za deinstitucionalizacijo. No, ampak predlagam, da kar vzpostavimo stik z Sophie, ki nam bo povedala nekaj pogovorov, tako da, ja. Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Ella. How are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, so we're here. We just started, and we did a little introduction about what you're gonna talk about today. So would you want to just start, or shall we do the questions? You have prepared something to present your initiative?
Yeah, well, I just looked at your email and the questions you sent me, so I decided to just kind of answer along, and you can just drop in whatever question you have. Just to introduce myself, my name is Sophie. I work for Refugees Welcome in Germany, an organization that is providing private housing situations for refugees across Germany. We're presented in 9 countries in Europe at the moment. I think the last country that launched was Italy just a few weeks ago. And I'm happy to take part in the panel.
Thank you. So maybe, I also have this list of same questions. So maybe we could just start with the first one, or you can just go through them, whichever you find easiest.
I can answer the questions.
Okay, cool. So the first one was about how was the model of accommodation for asylum seekers in Germany a year ago when you guys started, and why did you? And then also, what was your motivation, or how was your vision to think of an alternative to this accommodation system?
Okay, so the accommodation system in Germany looks exactly what it looked like a year ago, unfortunately. What happens when a refugee comes into Germany is refugees have to go into so-called initial reception centers for about 3 months, which is a sort of mass accommodation where refugees can file their application for asylum, or where their cases are kind of sorted out. And then after 3 months, people are being transferred into long-term asylum centers, usually in the countryside, usually in the periphery of urban centers. And then people, so Germany has different counties, 16 different counties, and the law is different in each county, but the very minimum duration of stay has to be 12 months. So refugees are not allowed to leave these accommodations, even if they have the means, in less than 12 months. And then there's counties where you have to stay in those places for about 3 years. I guess in reality, many people end up staying there for decades even, because they don't really have the financial means to get out of those centers and find their own place in a city or county of their choice. I guess the reason why Mareike and Jonas have set up Refugees Welcome is because there's severe limitations to this kind of accommodation, mostly being a lack of access to society and infrastructure, and I would say a sort of racist segregational policy of keeping the refugees out and keeping them out of society, and not providing any opportunity for integration, for learning a language, for social mobility, for building up a better life. So I think the difference between maybe Germany and a country like Greece or Italy is that refugees are probably provided for quite well in material terms. So yes, there's enough to eat and there's a roof upon your head, at least for most people, but yeah, it's psychologically, it's very, very difficult. So yeah, the vision was to kind of provide an answer to what we think is a failure of state, and yeah, kind of provide an opportunity for refugees to live in normal places, to live together with peoples, with locals in a city of their choice. So that's why it was set up.
And you started, you had your first year party recently, so you started almost exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And could you tell us a few sentences about how it started and how it came together, and yeah, where was your idea inspired from? Or yeah.
Well, I think how it started was kind of a private initiative. So Mareike and Jonas, who are the founders, had a free room in their apartment, and wondered why, you know, if you have a free room, why not let a refugee move in, you know, given the situation at the time. And yeah, so they got to know a guy from Mali, his name's Karim, who moved in, and they thought, you know, why not set up a website, and why not kind of, you know, make this a little initiative to enable more people to do so. So yeah, they set up a website, and I guess it coincided with a time where the numbers of refugees coming into Germany increased, and also the attention given to the whole issue in Germany increased. So I don't think anyone really planned for it to grow this quickly, but it did. So there was a lot of press attention, a lot of sympathy, I guess, from the population within Germany. So yeah, that's how it started. It just started off as kind of a private idea, and I guess Jonas is a web developer, so he just set up a website. And, yeah.
And how did it? So now you have. So it started with a website, and then sooner became bigger than maybe you initially, or it was initially thought. And how does your organization work at the moment? So like, how does your work look like? What takes up most of your time? Also, how are you financed? And how does the matching process look like? If you could tell us briefly.
So yeah, at the moment we are 8 members in the German team. All of us, 6 of us working full time. And what we do is, so each of us, so Mareike and Jonas are doing, so Mareike is doing advocacy and fundraising and press and so on, and Jonas is doing a lot of the organizational structure, and the rest of us is literally doing the matching. So everyone is responsible for a different city in Germany. So me, for example, because I'm from Hamburg, which is in the north of Germany, I'm doing all the matchings in the northern part of Germany, so Hamburg, Hanover, and Bremen. And I guess, yeah, we like to say we have no hierarchical structures, and everyone can, I think we're still very much in the process of, you know, really establishing firm structures, and we change our concept almost every week, and we try and improve the way we work. But I would say still most of my day is taken up by the matching. So how it works is, people who want to offer a room can go to the website and register, and you can say, well, where you live, how old you are, how long you want to rent out your room for, whether you need the money for it or whether you rent it out for free, and so on and so on. And maybe, you can give some sort of like rough idea of what you're looking for. So obviously we don't accept anyone, having like ethnic or religious preferences, but if you say, let's say, I want someone my age, or I only want to live with a woman, and so on, we would respect obviously those wishes. So so we get the room offers, and then we try and get in touch with a refugee who is looking for a room. So that can be anyone, ranging from someone who has a residence permit, who's living in a mass accommodation, to people who don't have papers at all, homeless people, and so on and so on. Refugees can also register on our website, but we also work together with a lot of other NGOs, so the Red Cross and so on. We just try and match people. They get to meet up, they get to decide whether they like each other, whether they can imagine living together, and if yes, the person can move in. And I guess the principle behind it is, and what we like to stress is, Refugees Welcome is no charity organization. So we do not understand, giving out your room is not to be understood as a favor you're doing to the other person or an act of generosity or charity. I think it's very much about living together on equal terms and about an experience that would probably enhance both sides equally. And another very important principle about us is we can organize ways to finance the room. So people may give out their rooms for free, which usually we give to people who have no state support. But there's many ways in Germany to organize rent to be financed, either through the state or through us.
And how many matches have you done? Have you managed to do successfully so far?
We've done about 210 matches now. And a number of matches have increased quite quickly over the past few months, just because we had more members of staff working on it. And I guess within Europe it must be around 420. So the organization in Austria has launched quite shortly after Germany has launched. So they've done about 180, 190, and then I think Spain and Poland have recently found some matches too.
Do you do a kind of follow-up after you've done the match, or do you manage to keep in contact to see how it's going and get some feedback?
Yes, we try to. So what we also have, what I forgot to mention, is each flat and refugee get what we call a buddy. So someone, because we sit in Berlin, but we do matching across Germany. So let's say in a city like Hamburg, many volunteers register also on our website to say they would accompany or sort of take care locally of the match that we've done. So that person would first of all organize and accompany the first meeting between the two, but would also kind of stay in touch and check upon them every now and then and see how it's going, which is very important to us, especially because let's say a room is only free for 6 months, and the person who's living there does not get enough money to kind of provide for himself. He's very much dependent on us finding another room after those 6 months. So we need those buddies to remind us on deadlines we have to keep and so on. So yes, we do a follow-up, but what I think is also important is, again, we don't really see ourselves as like a charity organization having to take care of some victimized refugee, but we really see people as adults who can, recreate a contact, but everything that happens after that should be understood as a normal living together as any other person living together as well.
How about the financing part? So you meant, so I guess maybe that question has 2 parts. So one is how is just your organization financed? And then the second one, you were mentioning the financing for those people that provide a